Hello, lovely to meet you. And thank you for your time today. I wanted to sort of start off really by asking, this film feels very much like a voyage of discovery and self-discovery for Firedrake. Is that something that you kind of read in the script when you read it for the first time?
Yeah, absolutely. They're all quite young characters that grow up in a certain environment with certain kind of rules and things put in place, and I think reach a level of frustration and want to understand why there are kind of certain restrictions put in place, and why there is a kind of segregation between the humans and the old special ancient creatures, and how to kind of bring the world together and make their world a little bit bigger, and get rid of fears, and he has the courage to have these ideas, and then also to act upon them, and to go off and have this wonderful adventure where he's just kind of doing things for the betterment of everyone, of his loved ones.
Well, actually, you mentioned about like his character, and I saw Firedrake as very much an idealist, and he's brave. Is that something that kind of resonated with you when you read for the part?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he's charismatic. He's full of energy. He's enigmatic and quite intoxicating, really. I mean, it kind of rubs off on you. I think his kind of childlike passion towards wanting the world to just be a bit better.
Yeah,
It's just a lovely thing, and somewhat of an appropriate message at the moment.
absolutely. And you touched upon that it's sort of set around the ancient world. Obviously, we've got dragons in it, but it's also set in the modern world, so it makes the story contemporary as well. Is that something that that you thought that was important as well, to be able to bring that ancient world and bring a modern story to a dragon story, really?
Yeah, I like that. I think that kind of gives it a kind of a grounding thing. And I know for me as a child, when stories did do that, it made it feel like it was more real, because you saw how this fantastical world could actually possibly exist parallel to the world that I do know. So I liked that side, and definitely would have done if I was a kid too.
And with regards to your preparation, when you're working with a character that's animated, are you presented with kind of concept art from the director, so you can sort of visualize the character that you're going to be portraying?
Yeah, yes, absolutely, because it's not animated yet. So you've got are sketches, which I mean, I love sketching and I love drawing, so I mean, I think there's so much character that you can get from sketches. But they also sent through a whole pack of renderings and color palettes and general synopsis, so that you can get a kind of a real feel of what the whole piece is going to be like, and all the other characters and what they all do, what they all mean, what they represent, blah blah blah. So you're able to really get a better idea of it, as opposed to it just be a script and a couple of little sketches.
Yeah. And you're playing a character that obviously is I'm thinking about the body mass and his weight and his height. So when you're lending your voice to a character, how do you then prepare for, you can't have a squeaky voice because you're not playing a mouse. So how do you then adapt your voice for the character?
Yes, I know. Yeah, because I mean, my initial thought was to have a much deeper voice, but they thought that it sounded too old, and that he lacked that kind of that juvenile, fresh, sprightly sound. So we experimented with different pitches until we settled on what everyone was kind of happy with, which was kind of a halfway in between, and then has the potential to kind of sing song a little bit, so he can go a little bit deeper at certain moments, and then he can also shoot up when he gets very animated and very enthusiastic, and go a little bit squeaky if he wants to. And also it's kind of, his fire doesn't work yet, so it's almost like he's kind of squeaking, and his voice is maybe starting to break a little bit, and he's kind of experimenting with his voice. So yeah, we just played around with that idea, really.
And do you have to then I'm trying to think about, because again you're lending your voice, how do you, because there's a lot of repetition, isn't there, when you're lending your voice to a character? Imagine you're in a booth and you're having to repeat the words and intonate and phrase in different ways. So how do you then prepare your voice for what could be something that's quite exhausting, really?
Yeah, you do. You have to go in and be able to have longevity in your voice. So I mean, that's just little things, like standing up helps a lot.
Yeah.
Having comfortable clothes on, comfortable shoes on, and it sounds silly, but it's important. Also clothes that breathe, like natural fibers, and clothes that don't scratch and make noises either. And then everything comes from the diaphragm, and you try and not use this part of your to like add husk or squeaks or stuff. Try not to use that too much. Try and use it for more of the belly, more of the diaphragm. That helps give more power, but also more longevity. And stay away from chocolate and a Coca-Cola, or what else is bad? Coffee's really bad. You just get really bad sounds.
Oh yes, yeah.
Horrible. So it's mainly water and lemon, ginger teas work really, really well. If your voice starts to kind of go or squeak or crack, that helps a lot. And the sound engineers and everyone, they all know the little secrets there. You just ask them; they know what they're doing.
and finally, because I know that we've got to go, when you're lending your voice to an animated character, is it just an ideal opportunity to have fun and really just play with a character?
That's exactly it. I mean, we get to do parts that we would never get cast in a real movie, in a live action movie. I don't look much like a dragon, so you get to play and you get to really have fun, and yeah, it's for a younger audience as well. So you kind of get to go back in time and literally, yeah, just be a kid, because that's what, I mean, acting basically is just being a little kid. It's just going away into your imagination and playing around and putting on silly voices and things. That's kind of all it is. So it's quite nice to be reminded of that.
Thomas, thank you very much indeed, and get best of luck with the film. Thanks for your time. Have a nice afternoon. Cheers. Bye-bye.